Okay, so remember last time we talked about standard measurement. We talked about how standard measurement is what we use here in the United States. There's also metric measurement, which we're going to talk about in the next lesson. So all of these ones that you just learned about in lesson 1, and you should have done your boom cards and taken your quiz for, they were for length, okay? So this next one is going to be capacity. So capacity, that is an ugly marker. Okay, capacity is the amount of liquid a container can hold. So if you have, I have one right here. If you have a water bottle like this, okay, you can measure the length of this water bottle, okay, right? You can measure how tall it is. But if you want to know how much liquid is inside the bottle, you would want to find the capacity. And if you look right here, it is 16.9. The FL is for fluid, and then the OZ is for ounces. So that's that. I also have in front of me, this is my yogurt I drink every morning. So this was 16 ounces, this water bottle. And then this, you can see it's smaller. This is 7 ounces, okay? Let's see, what else do I have hanging around here? I believe this cup in my tumbler, it can hold 24 ounces. So you can see it's a lot bigger. And then this is 16. So this one is 8 more. And then this one is 7. So that's just to give you an idea. Okay. So we have fluid ounces. So again, my little Chobani, it has 7. So there's 7 fluid ounces in my Chobani. Then you have cups. I happen to know that if you have water, that 1 cup is 8 ounces, okay? A pint, that's like your little milk you get at the cafeteria in the gym. That's a pint. A quart is the skinny milk, okay? And then a gallon is the big jug of milk, okay? So the first thing we're gonna look at for capacity is what of these items would you use? Which way would you measure? Because again, it gets really uncomfortable and hard to understand if we use the wrong unit, okay? So Sam is filling an ice tray. Did it take him 2 cups or 2 gallons? So you wouldn't want to use those 2 big gallon jugs. So it was definitely 2 cups to fill up an ice tray. So the measuring cup, the 1 cup, not just any cup. It has to be the 1 cup measuring cup for that. Haley bought a tube of toothpaste. Was it most likely 1.5 cups or 1.5 quarts of toothpaste? So again, a quart is that tall, skinny milk that you can get. And I would say for a tube of toothpaste, it was probably 1.5 cups, okay? At a restaurant, Cody ordered a glass of lemonade. Did the glass most likely have 1 pint or 1 gallon of juice? So if he ordered a glass of lemonade, he probably didn't have that whole big jug of lemonade. You can buy those at Chick-fil-A, right? He probably actually had a pint, which would be again that size that you get in the cafeteria of milk. Again, this is not a pint, it's a pint, okay? And it breaks the rules for reading. Isabel is pouring milk for her cereal. Did she most likely pour from a 1 pint container or a 1 gallon? Again, you can buy a pint of milk, but most likely if Isabel was pouring for her cereal, she probably is pouring from a gallon, okay? So if you look over here, we're gonna convert. And when you convert, you do not need to memorize this. You just need to be able to use a chart like this. When you take your tests, you can get your chart out. You can either use this page or you can use the blue page. And it tells you all, so we're doing customary right now. So if you were trying to find capacity, which is also known as volume, you would come over here, okay? Because volume, not like is it louder, but volume like the capacity is how much space does it take up, okay? So if we're gonna go from pints to cups, if you look, In 1 pint, there's 2 cups. So if you already have the pints, all you have to do to go from pints to cups is you're gonna go times 2. So if we have 1 pint, look here, it's 2 cups. So we're gonna go, 1 times 2 is 2. So if you're gonna have 2 pints, we're gonna go times 2, and it's gonna be 4. If you have 3 pints, then 3 times 2, that would be 6. And then if you have 4 pints, then you would go times 2, which would be 8. So, and remember when we talked about patterns, you also could call this, back in the pattern lesson, this is the input, this is the information you're given, and the output is how much you would make using the times 2. So that's just a reminder if you didn't get to patterns. This is called the input and this is called the output, okay? Let's go ahead and go this way. So if you're going from gallons to quarts, look up here, in 1 gallon, there are 4 quarts. So for that, we would go times 4. So to go from gallons to quarts, you're gonna go times 4 because in that big jug, remember a gallon is the big jug, you could take, you could divide it evenly into fourths and you would have quarts. Or you could take 4 quarts and make a gallon, okay? So 2 times 4 would be 8 quarts. So 2 gallons is 8 quarts. 4 times 4, so 4 gallons is 16 quarts. 6 gallons times 4, that'd be 24 quarts. And you should say quarts, but a lot of people say quarts. I don't know. 8 times 4 is 32, so that would be 32 quarts. So you're just going times 4 every time to get from gallons to quarts, okay? If you're gonna get from quarts to pints, let's look up here. So we've got 2 pints in 1 quart. So if we're starting at quarts and we're gonna go to pints, we're gonna go from 1 quart to 2 pints. So we're gonna go times 2. So let's write that. I don't know why that one tripped me up. That just happens sometimes with math, right? So 1 times 2, that would be 2. So 1 quart is 2 pints. And if you think about it, again, a quart is that tall milk, and then the pint is the small one that you get in the cafeteria. So that's why you got to think about that way. That little milk inside the big milk. It would take 2 of them. If you had 2 quarts times 2, that'd be 4 pints. 3 quarts times 2, that would be 6. And then 4 quarts times 2, that would be 8, okay? All right, and if we go from pints to cups, if we look up here, so we gotta find, there's 2 cups in 1 pint. So again, we're just gonna do times 2. So, and remember, pints, oh no, 2 cups in 1 pint. Yes, because in 1 pint, there'd be 2 cups, okay? So 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 2 is 14. 9 times 2 is 18. And 11 times 2 is 22, okay? All right. So now down here, we're gonna convert, okay? And we're gonna look at, remember when we see the circle, we know we're gonna do greater than, less than. So if we have 10 cups, we wanna go from cups to quarts. So let's look at our chart. Cups to quarts. So 2 cups are in a pint and 2 pints are in a quart. So you would have to have it actually be, so from 2 cups to 1 quart, it'd be times 4 because you need the 2 cups and the 2 pints. So, well, let's go from cups. So there's 2 pints in a quart. Oh, I'm getting tripped up. Okay, so we just have to think about which one is bigger. So in 2 quarts, you're gonna have how many cups? Let's think about that. So it takes 2 cups to make a pint, right? And it takes 2 pints to make a quart. So yeah, so I was right before. So that would be a total of 10 cups. So that means 10 cups would be greater. Sorry, I just totally probably confused you, but that's okay. A gallon to 16 cups. So 1 cup is 8 ounces. And so 2 cups equals a pint, which means in 2 pints, there's 4 cups, right? And then in 2 pints, there's a quart. 4 quarts would be another times 2, so that's 8 cups. So these would be equal. Okay, so the biggest thing you should probably do, instead of like, I've been estimating here because I know, so it's probably confusing you, is try to figure out how you can get close to both of these, kind of like rounding. So if we know we need 3 pints, that would be, we go back, okay? So pints is, 1 pint is 2 cups. See that? So that means if we have 3 pints, we have 6 cups. Do you see how I converted one of them? So that means that 3 pints is greater than 5 cups, okay? And then if we come over here, quarts, 5 quarts in 1 gallon. So if we know that 4 quarts is a gallon, then 5 quarts has to be bigger than a gallon, okay? So again, over here, we can just switch. So a gallon has 4 quarts, okay? And in one, so you could just switch it back and forth. But I think it's easier if you just look at your chart, you convert it over using this, and then you know which one. But this one was easy because we could see that there's 4 quarts in a gallon, and we're talking about 5.